A good midday Tuesday, Roger Hill with the VELCO Weather Hazards Outlook. On the weather map, we're seeing a pretty significant trough of lower pressure, kind of in the subtropical jet stream. The northern branch of the jet stream is getting active as well. The two are going to be getting together and producing an area of low pressure that is right now producing a line of severe weather and strong to severe thunderstorm activity. And what you can see right now in terms of temperatures, this supports all rain, a little bit of colder air in the backside with that northern branch of the jet stream starting to push in. And in terms of temperature, you can see that we're seeing temperatures well into the 60s and high dew points and some pretty good cape supplying that severe thunderstorm line. That is not going to be a problem for us. That is going to be further to the south of our region. But for us, we're going to see an area of low pressure that's going to be building and developing, kind of curling up and intensifying as a lot of that jet stream energy works off out of the southwest and into the Great Lakes region. From there, a secondary area of low pressure will develop off the Jersey coast, take a track south of Long Island to about Cape Cod. It'll curl and do a loop-de-loop somewhere in the Gulf of Maine or just off the Maine coast, and then pull away eventually. The storm will have done some damage at that point in time. We're looking at some prospects for wet snow loading, especially in the elevated terrain. Also, additionally, some very strong gusty easterly winds perpendicular to the southern and central Green Mountains, affecting the gaps as well. And all of this combination could mean some wind gusts as high as 65 miles per hour along the western slopes and the adjacent valleys. All of this kicks in as early as tomorrow morning. It looks like Wednesday morning, and through the day it looks like the wet snow loading will really hit us late in the day on Wednesday and affect especially Wednesday night into the day on Thursday. Beyond that, the storm system will be captured aloft and basically cut off as a cutoff area of low pressure for a time, and then eventually it'll move out to sea and pull away. But it's going to be a gradual process, so we're looking at the last flakes or raindrops within this particular sort of late season winter storm slant spring storm. The last of the spring precipitation is going to be exiting the region not until basically Saturday morning. Let's take a look at the computer modeling. Today on the right-hand side we have the Canadian model, the CHEM, and the European on the left-hand side. Here on the left we have the Canadian GEM on the right-hand side, and what you can see here is state of Vermont. And of course this is all rain, very little snow except on the back edge of this surface low. Okay, we run the model. This is valid about 11 o'clock. That would be 2 o'clock this afternoon. You can see the creep of the precipitation just barely getting into Bennington as of 21Z. That's about 5 o'clock this evening. And that begins to just kind of loiter right near the Vermont border, and then begins to make a bit of a move as the area of low pressure here really winds up and deepens over Lake Michigan. You can start to see this sort of warm frontal boundary intersecting an occluded frontal boundary here, and basically that's going to start to encounter some colder air as we get into the day on Wednesday. So not a whole lot going on in terms of wet snow loading. It's going to be kind of a slow start. It looks like there's a wintry mix involved, a little bit of sleet, some freezing rain potential as well in those coldest valleys. But for the most part, temperatures are going to be warm enough where it's going to be basically rain and wet snow and some sleet. So we'll watch the progression here. This is valid 2 o'clock tomorrow, Wednesday afternoon. And we're starting to see the rain, the mixed precipitation working on in. Basically take your pick of precipitation type for a time here until it basically delivers wet snow. And that's starting to take place here as we get into Wednesday night and Thursday. Meanwhile, you're seeing the strong pressure gradient winds with the combination of these two areas of low pressure interacting and perpendicularly along the southern and central Green Mountains, and also some gap winds involved, probably for Rutland and maybe perhaps Bennington, maybe further up to the north around Bolton. But needless to say, this is going to be a bit of a complex storm system as we transfer the energy to the secondary low off of New Jersey, and then this is going to take a track northeastward. So it becomes basically a kind of a wet combination nor'easter. Good snow's falling Thursday morning. You can see that some of the heavier bands are taking place here. 986, 987, area of low pressure doing a little bit of a loop, and so on and so forth. And eventually we're going to wind things down as we get into Thursday night and Friday, but still some precipitation falling in the form of frozen And that basically becomes lighter and lighter as this area of low pressure kind of loops around for a time, captured by the upper level low, and then it pulls on away, and we start to end everything basically on Saturday morning. Beyond that point, high pressure will build in from the north. We're looking at dry weather and good conditions on Sunday, and that'll last into Monday. It looks like even holding off until Tuesday as we head into the area next week here. This is going to promote some good weather basically at about 18Z, about 2 o'clock for the solstice that'll be taking place and tracking some of the best weather in the country. It looks like is going to be up here in northern New England. How about that? So for the outlook period, here's the GFS ensemble centered on the Montpelier grid. It's basically one big storm, slowly, gradually winding on down as we head into the weekend. That's followed by an area of higher pressure and better conditions for the total solar eclipse on Monday. Total QPF is pretty healthy, up there around 1.10, 1.2 inches total, and much of that is going to be falling in the form of snow. First, we're going to look at 850 hectopascal temperatures. This is all below the 0 degree isotherm, about the top of Mount Mansfield, and so it's going to, precipitation that falls will be in the form of snow indeed. Looking at precipitation type, what you can see here is primarily snow, a little bit of rain mixed in, but primarily snow for us. Looking at the total snow amounts, pretty hefty. You can see that climbs basically closer to around 10 inches. I'm guessing probably somewhere between 5 and about 12 inches of snow is going to be common along and east of the Green Mountains, with some of the mountain summits perhaps getting into that sort of 10 to 20 inch amount as a possibility, as it's going to accrue the most when those temperatures are bobbing up and down off the valley floors, allowing for a little bit of mixtures of rain. Hydrologically, we're going to be above normal in terms of precipitation for this outlook period, running about 1.5 here in the brown line. That's about 1 inch amounts. The further north you go, the lesser the amounts, the least amount of precip. 2 meter temperature from the climate reanalyzer shows not a whole lot to show here. It's just warmer than normal. That's where that line of thunderstorms is working into, and it's producing some pretty good convection air. And then we have the colder air in the backside of the system. Meteorological output statistics, or MOS, showing temperatures a little colder than neutral, about 3 to 6 degrees overall. About 3 days later, that was for the next 5 days of high temperatures only, and then 3 to 8 days out. And then what we're seeing here is neutral, basically, for 3 to 7 days out for the Weather Prediction Center MOS temperatures. Looking at a very fine day, especially across the northern 2/3 of the state, and with temperatures that are warming up very nicely in the afternoon sunshine. Already hitting 50 degrees at Morrisville. That's it from here. Roger Hill. Thanks for watching.